Hi Yogi, Yogini, welcome back to the Yoga Clinic. I am so glad that you're here. I have a class for you today on low back pain. So Leroy, if you are watching this class is especially for you. But the truth is that many Americans will suffer from low back pain at some point in their lives. And there can be so many different causes of it. It can be from things like lordosis, which is hyperextension in your lower back, which puts a lot of load on your sacrum, your pelvis, and the vertebra in your low back. It can also be from the opposite, which is from tucking the tailbone under too much, elevating the pubis, what my physical therapist used to call the pink panther syndrome. I don't know the technical name for it. It can also be things like tightness of muscles around the lower back and the pelvis, the low core, even in the legs. It can be the way that you're standing. It can be from sitting too much. So the point of this video is not to diagnose why your low back might be hurting. That's going to be your job. So as we move through these different postures that might target different common causes of low back pain, you can be the judge of what feels really good in your body and what things really hurt. And that will clue you into what movements and what parts of your body might be involved in your pain. So obviously we want to mobilize the low back as much as possible. As people get older and things start to get sore, they tend to guard those joints. And when we guard the joints, the pain tends to get worse and our range of motion gets smaller and smaller. So we really want to mobilize, but we don't want pain. So throughout this class, please stay within your comfort zone. Don't do anything that hurts or causes numbness, tingling. If that happens, just coming out of the pose a little bit or coming out entirely and skipping it. So you're going to be the detective here. I'm just going to be the guide. And we're going to start today on our backs. You don't need any props for this class. Just grab a mat. And we'll begin class today with constructive rest. So the feet are parallel, but they are as wide as your mat, and the knees knock together. You can take the hands anywhere. I like to start my practice with grounding, placing a hand on the heart and one on the belly. And when I do this, my first reaction is to take a deep breath in. So let's do that together. And open the mouth, let go. And feel the body really connecting with the earth. Another deep breath in here, relaxing your face, becoming heavy. Surrendering to gravity. We'll gently blink the eyes open. I want you to keep breathing nice and deeply. And we'll just sway the knees from side to side. You might take the hands down by your hips, palms down. And then we're going to sway the legs over to the right and drop them over, coming into something like a twist. So you can stay right here, or you might cactus the arms. And then you can even look over your opposite shoulder, so the left shoulder in this case. And then again, just resting here. Coming back through center with the knees. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side, just dropping them over. So we're on the inside edge of the right foot, outside edge of the left. Relaxing the jaw. Good. Let's come back through center. We're going to go back over to the right. And you can do exactly what we just did, or you can lift your right foot and place it outside of the left knee. And this is just going to deepen the internal rotation of the left femur bone. And then we'll gently slide the right foot off of the left knee. Place it back on the right edge of the mat and bring the knees back to center. Maybe a little wiggle side to side here before taking the legs over to the left. Option to pick up the left foot and place it outside of the right knee. And then we'll remove the left foot, place it back on the mat, and bring the knees back to center. We'll take a moment to gather the knees into the chest, Apanasana, wind-removing pose. Just massaging the lower back. A lot of times our expectation that something is going to cause pain is more likely to cause that pain. This is called the nocebo response. So by gently rocking our lower back here, massaging it, we're actually telling the body that it's okay to loosen up, that we're safe here. And so we can calm down those pain signals. We're going to bring the knees or the feet back onto the mat. Let's keep hip width distance or a little wider here. And I want you to imagine that you have a clock on the front of your pelvis. So I'll just sit up to show you. So the top of the clock will be 12 o'clock, and that's going to point straight down towards your pubis. And then the 6 o'clock is going to point up towards the sternum. And so that would make, 3 o'clock would point towards the right ASIS, this little protrusion on your right hip. And 9 o'clock would point towards the left ASIS. So visualizing that clock, I want you to roll your pelvis from 12 to 6. Nice and gentle here. And then can you roll from 3 to 9? Good. And then we're going to go from the 1 to 2 o'clock area towards the 7 to 8 o'clock area. So on the diagonal, this one's a little harder. And then we'll do the same with the 10 and 11 o'clock towards 4 and 5 o'clock. So the left facing diagonal. And what we're doing here is mobilizing the pelvis, and we're mobilizing the joints in our lumbar vertebra, which are the vertebrae in our low back. And so when we have low back pain, we tend to really guard these areas and we don't move it. And so what I said at the beginning of class is the less that we move, the less we'll be able to move. Good, now let's make a big circle touching all the numbers of the clock face. We'll move clockwise to start. Really exaggerate the motion here. Make it as big as you can. And then switch sides. Good. We'll find some stillness, find neutral. And we're going to go through some rolling bridges. So I want you to think about cat-cow here. So we'll find cow pose first, pressing the tailbone into the mat and exaggerating the curve of your low back. Feeling the heart pressing up towards the sky, getting a little bit more buoyant. And then exhale, and we'll curl the tailbone up, pressing the low back down. And continuing this flexion of the spine, we'll lift the hips, lift the mid-back, so we're resting right on the shoulders. Good. And then we'll come back down, staying in flexion, so keeping everything rounded, tailbone pointing up. And then switch. Point the tailbone down. Find the buoyancy in the heart, the lightness through the front ribs. And then round. Press the back of your pelvis down, tailbone up. Belly button draws down, and then we'll lift the hips and roll all the way up onto the shoulders. Keep tugging the pelvis up. So this is a posterior tilt of the pelvis. And then keep that flexion, come down, and then extending. Good. We'll gather the knees into the chest again. Good. And now we're going to roll up to a seat. If that's not going to work for you, just come onto one side and make your way into a cross-legged position. Left leg in, right foot in front. Oh, I have all this dog hair on my mat. Just move that over there for now. So left shin tucks in, right shin in front. Let's crawl the fingertips forward, coming to tent the fingertips. And then we're going to sway the torso side to side here. Again, loosening up the tightness in our low back, our side body. Working the chest down towards the floor, but it does not have to touch. And you can keep swaying, or you can find some stillness here, rounding the forehead down. This is a pose that I feel like I could stay in for the rest of my life. But unfortunately, we don't have our whole lives here. So just remember this one. If this feels really nice for you, you can come back to it. I like it because not only stretches along the whole spine, but I also feel an extension in my hips, side of my hips. Good. We're going to walk the fingers over to the right, draping the torso over the right knee. And then maybe you can walk the left fingertips out a little more. So releasing tightness in the left glute, maybe. I know I feel it there. And doing your best to send the left sitting bone back. Keeping the shoulders square. Good. Let's come back through center. Slowly walking the hands in. We'll take the hands behind us really quickly. We'll find some windshield wipers before we take the other side. And then we'll bring the opposite leg in front. So left shin in front of the right. We'll walk the fingers down. And then we'll sway side to side, tenting the fingertips. Letting this movement be gentle. If it feels like this is a lot of compression in the ankle or twisting in the knee, flex your feet. So tucking that pinky toe back towards your midline. And that's going to put the tibia in more of a neutral position so that there's less twisting in the ankle and the knee joint. Good. We'll walk the fingertips over to the left this time. Maybe crawling the right fingers out a little bit further as you root down through the right sitting bone. And then coming back through center and walking the hands in. So we're going to come to standing, but we're going to stay really low with the head for this whole next sequence. So make your way up to stand. We'll have the feet about hip width distance. And we're going to bend the knees a bunch, almost so the torso is draping over the front thighs. And then grabbing opposite arms behind the legs. And then from here you can sway side to side. So for some of us with low back pain, this manifests as sciatic pain, which is numbness and tingling along the lateral edge of a given leg. And so forward folding can be really difficult in those people. I know because I have it. But when I bend my knees a lot like this, it helps some of the tension on the sciatic nerve, and so I don't feel the pain. So bend the knees as much as you need to feel comfortable here, and then just let the sides of the neck lengthen down. Feel for rooting down through the whole foot. Good, and we'll take the fingertips down. We're going to step the feet wide as the mat or a little wider. Parallel your feet, and then take the right hand in front of your face. Bend the right knee a lot. And then begin to twist open towards the left. And as you do that, you may start to creep the left arm around your low back, reaching for the right inner thigh. And then from here, you can drop the right shoulder or the right ear towards the right shoulder. Really bend the right knee a lot here. So gently twisting open. And then we'll switch sides. Take the left hand down. Coming through center, bending the knees, not going to straight here. And then we'll bend the left knee, begin to straighten the right and shift the weight over to the left side. Right arm will curl around the low back. Lean your chest back, and then drop the left ear towards the left shoulder. And think about pulling the right shoulder blade back and down. We'll slowly unwind, come back through center again, not straightening the legs all the way. We're going to creep the right foot into the middle of the mat and sneak the left knee back and down and feel for about hip width distance with the legs. So we're going to rise up here into a runner's lunge. And I want you to really flex, is that the right word? Engage, fire up your left glute. And as you do this, you're going to feel a stretch in the hip flexors on the left side. So this is a common cause of back pain in people who sit a lot, as their hip flexors are tight, and so it pulls on your low back. So this is a really good stretch for almost everybody to do to open up the front body. We'll find a simple twist here. Left hand inside the right foot, right underneath the face. Right hand will grab hold of the right knee and we'll just twist towards the right knee. And again, you can drop the left ear down. Looking down at the floor. And then you have the option here to find a quad stretch. So actually, it's easier to find this in the twist. So let's come back into the twist, sorry. We'll bend the left knee and grab hold of the left foot with the right hand. So we're still in our twist, still dropping left ear down. We're pulling the left heel in towards the left glute, stretching deeper through the hip flexor and also through the quadricep of the left leg. Right shoulder blade down and release. Switch sides, we'll step the left foot up to meet the right, bent knees, and just stepping the right foot back, dropping the right knee. Frame the left foot with your hands, and then untuck your back toes and squeeze your right glute muscle. Really lunge deeply into your front knee. If you need, you can come up onto fingertips. And feel the extension along the front of the right thigh, your hip flexor. Good. Let's find our twist. Right hand down. Facing our chest towards the left leg, we'll just grab the left knee with the left hand, twisting the chest open towards the left, and maybe dropping the right ear down. Keeping some pressure in the top of the right foot and activation through the right glute. Now from here you can stay, or you might find your quad stretch, bending the right knee and grabbing the top of the right foot with the left hand. If this is, you can't connect foot and hand, you can back the hips up towards the back of the mat slightly, or you can use a strap. For some of us, this will be too much pressure on the back knee. You can always pad it with a blanket, or you can fold up the corner of your mat for some extra padding. Good. Release. We're going to step the right foot back up to meet the left for malasana, a squat. Now this isn't accessible for everybody. If you're one of those people, you can just place a support underneath your hips so that you can sit upright a little better. You can also lift the heels. Think about a tall spine, spreading your collarbones. And we'll take the hands behind the back, sitting the butt down, and just windshield wiper the knees side to side. And we'll drop them all the way over to the right side, coming into a twisted deer or a bent leg pigeon prep. So we're going to twist towards this right knee, and then we're even going to twist beyond the right knee so that the torso faces the right thigh. From there, you can just hang out in the twist. You might come onto forearms. So the piriformis muscle is one of the muscles that externally rotate our femur. It's located deep within our butt cheeks. It is a pesky little muscle because, as important as it is, for a lot of us the sciatic nerve runs right through it. And so when that muscle gets tight, we develop sciatic pain. It can also just lead to a lot of tightness in the hips. So poses like this, poses like pigeon, are really good at opening up the piriformis. I'm going to come back up and do the other side. Take your time to set it up. And then as you're ready, we'll come back through center. Any free movements of the legs. And then when you're ready, we're going to lay it back down. We'll take a happy baby here. And I would encourage you to keep the tailbone lifting up so the lower back is rounded. But there's also a variation of this pose where you extend the tailbone along the mat. And that's just going to bring the sensation more into the hamstring attachment. Good. Supta Baddha Konasana. Take the soles of the feet together, knees wide. And a hand on the belly, a hand on the heart, or any other position with the hands will do. And you can stay here, or you can move into a more traditional Shavasana, corpse pose, extending the legs, extending the arms. My fellow yoginis, learners, movers, humans, thank you for being here with me today. I hope this class brought you some relief. If you have any comments or feedback about it, if you'd like to share how the class made you feel, please leave me a comment. And I hope that you have a restful rest of your day or evening. When you're ready to close your practice, do it slowly. I'll see you next time. Thank you.